Hello, I'm Ben, and you're watching The PhD Parent. For optimal growth, development, and health of a baby, it's recommended that they are exclusively breastfed, that is, only fed breast milk, for the first 6 months of life. Then after the introduction of solid foods, that they continue to be breastfed until they're at least 2 years old. For more on the origins of this recommendation, you can check out my video in the link below. However, breastfeeding can be difficult for mums. And globally, only about 4 in 10 or 40% of infants are exclusively breastfed for this duration. As I read in another video, again you can check out the link below, there's evidence showing that dads' beliefs about breastfeeding impact on whether mums start breastfeeding and the duration that they breastfeed for. This impact may result from dads' beliefs about breastfeeding influencing the amount of breastfeeding support he provides. So in the current video, I'll dig into the beliefs that dads tend to hold about breastfeeding, the ways in which they try to support mums who are breastfeeding, and research showing the type of breastfeeding support that may result in the best breastfeeding outcomes. So what do dads believe is good or not so good about breastfeeding? So a bunch of studies have investigated this issue. Now I'll start with the not good bits and end on a high note by covering the good bits. So the following are based upon the results of an extensive review carried out by Sahoda and another paper by Brown and Davies. So some of the not so good aspects of breastfeeding that dads report are, first of all, feeling excluded and less able to bond with their baby. So in the early days, babies don't do much other than sleep, eat and poop. And while breastfeeding may help mum to bond with the baby, because dad can't do this, he has less opportunity to bond with the baby and needs to find alternative ways of bonding. 2, feeling helpless in terms of assisting mum. This one mostly relates to breastfeeding difficulties. Many dads are not given any advice on how to help with these kinds of difficulties, which may include mum being in pain when breastfeeding or the baby not latching properly when feeding. 3, having to manage other kids in the family who may be competing for mum's attention. I'm assuming mums who hear this will not be impressed. 4, feel inadequate or incompetent because they're unable to feed their baby independently. Now, I'm not entirely sure what's meant by this. Given dads can't produce breast milk, it wouldn't make sense to think that you're inadequate or incompetent because you can't feed your baby independently. But if what is meant by this is that dads feel inadequate or incompetent because they are unable to feed their baby express breast milk or formula properly, then that's another story. Because, at least in my view, it's fairly easy to pick up with a little practice. So now on to the good bits. So some of the good aspects of breastfeeding that dads report are, first of all, the health benefits for mum and baby, which is true because there's a bunch of research showing the benefits of breastfeeding. Number 2, it can save money, which is true. For example, you don't have to buy formula. 3, it's convenient. True again. There's no need to prepare bottles and you don't have to worry about running out of formula. 4, being able to dodge night feeds. Also true, but dads can still get involved. And in my view, probably should get involved. So in addition to these good bits, dads report several different strategies for overcoming some of the not so good bits. As mentioned, a key concern that dads have is being less able to bond with their baby, if the baby is being breastfed. 2 common ways dads report managing this are, first, to get involved by feeding the baby a bottle of express breast milk. Second, to get involved in other aspects of caring for baby. For example, changing nappies, burping after feeds, giving the kid a bath, putting the kid to bed, or playing with the baby. And both points relate to dad being able to dodge night feeds. When a baby feeds at night, dads can bottle feed breast milk, and even if mum sticks to breastfeeding, dads can help with the rest. Which is a nice segue into the ways in which dads say they support mum's breastfeeding. So according to Susan, most mums say that they want support from dad, but around 20% of mums are not sure what this help might involve. Likewise, most dads say that they want to help, but again, around 20% are not sure how best to do this. There are several ways in which dads report supporting breastfeeding mums, and these include looking out for when the baby might be hungry, trying to make their partner comfortable when breastfeeding, changing nappies, burping the kid after breastfeeding, caring for older kids while mum is breastfeeding, providing encouragement to mum, acknowledging the difficulties and effort it takes to breastfeed, cooking, organising things to do, such as going out for lunch, and finally, taking on the role of advocate to explain to others, family and friends for example, the importance of breastfeeding. As you can see, except for the second point, the types of support that dads report providing are not directly related to breastfeeding. And this was evident in a study by Rempel, who investigated the kind of support that may be most helpful in improving breastfeeding outcomes. The kinds of support considered related to household activities, childcare, and emotional support. In the study, the researchers assessed how long mums breastfed for and mum's satisfaction with breastfeeding. The findings show that the only type of support provided by dads that was consistently associated with duration of breastfeeding and mum's breastfeeding satisfaction was what the researchers called responsiveness. That is, the more responsive dad was, the longer mum breastfed for, and the more satisfied she was with breastfeeding. By responsiveness, the researchers meant the degree to which mum believed dad understood what was involved with breastfeeding, dealt sensitively with challenges, and was aware of what mum needed. Now, 2 things to say about these results. First, this is just an association or correlation. So you can't claim that dad being more responsive causes mum to breastfeed for longer or feel more satisfied with breastfeeding. For more on correlation and causation, you can check out my video in the link below. Secondly, this study tells us that in general, when dads are more responsive to breastfeeding mums, then mums tend to breastfeed for longer and are more satisfied with breastfeeding. The study can't tell us, for this particular mum living under these particular circumstances, what the most useful type of support will be. That's a far more nuanced question. Nevertheless, probably wouldn't hurt for dads to be more responsive. So that's it for dads' beliefs about breastfeeding and their breastfeeding support. If there's anything I've gotten wrong, any important research I've overlooked, or if you have any questions, then feel free to get in touch. Otherwise, happy parenting.